I literally do this every time. You guys, literally. I don't know why I haven't learned. I just fixed the sound. Thank you for letting me know. Good morning. I'll start all the way again from the beginning. Good morning. Hi, everyone. I'm Erica. I am an artist and educator in Texas, and I run a small business called Flynn Craft House where I make like art stuff and I sell it on my Etsy shop and on my website. And I also run a Patreon and it's called Flynn Craft House as well. And we do like art educational stuff, kind of like art educational stuff. And you guys tell me if the sound is okay. Let me know if there's any more problems. I'm so sorry about that. Thanks for the heads up. So I am a teacher. I'm an art teacher. So I focus a lot of my content on like making and teaching things. And so, you know, the content that I make is varied, but a lot of my content revolves around sketchbook practice. I'm a big advocate for sketchbooking. I wasn't always like this. I was notorious as being one of those people who had a sketchbook that I never used it. It would just like sit on a shelf. I liked to buy them. I liked to collect them, but I rarely used them. And I rarely used them with like purpose. So I recently got back into my practice and I am, you know, mostly focused on that in my creative endeavors. So I try to work in my sketchbook every day. I'm going to be working in this sketchbook. Sorry, this little sketchbook today. It's a new sketchbook I just started, and I think it's about 60 pages, and it is a moleskin. It's called Moleskin like Art Collection. Let me tell you, I kept the little label so I wouldn't forget, because moleskins are weird. Like if anybody's familiar with moleskins, like they, you know, the regular one isn't very good for drawing or painting on. I mean, the paper is very thin. This one is Art Collection Bullet Notebook, and it actually has like a little dot grid pattern on the paper, so it's not completely blank white paper. And I got this one at Home Goods for like $8, so that's why I'm using it. I have, you know, mixed reviews about moleskin, and sometimes I buy them and I don't know what kind of paper's coming on that particular sketchbook, so I get one that I'm disappointed with. So I got this one. It was $8 and it's cheap, and you know, I'm gonna use it. And I like that it's pink. It's perfect for my Valentine's pink theme. I'm doing a whole February pink month, and most of my drawings in here are pink or pinkish, and I'm hoping to kind of keep it like that. So that's what I'm going to be working in today. I also have paints out. I'm going to show you what I'm going to be using today. So let's go ahead and switch over there. And I just want to remind you that I will be drawing. I have 7 images that I'm going to be painting and drawing. I'm going to post them on the screen. You're going to see them on the screen, and you can draw along with me. But if you feel like me, like you might need to zoom in or like see the photos better quality, larger size, I have my iPad handy next to me and my photos are there on the Patreon. So you can find that link on, I posted it on Instagram. I don't know how else you can get there. I guess you can go to Patreon, but it's an open post. It's free and open for everybody to see. It's unlocked is what they call it. And all the photos are there. So if you'd like to see them a little bit closer up, please head over there and you can zoom in and view them in a larger size. And so what else should I tell you before we get started? I do have a timer available today, and I'm not sure how much of this I'm going to use, but I have it just in case I need something to kind of keep me on track. So you can follow the timers or you cannot. You can use the images or you cannot. You do you. You can just watch if you want to, or you can co-work with me. We can be studio mates today. All right, let's go ahead and switch on over here to the drawing camera. So this is a sketchbook I'm using, and you'll see that it does have little dots on the paper. I'm sorry if that's not super easy to see. And so far I've been working with primarily, you can see this is a bullet journal, so it has all of these like not like pre-filled out sheets. I don't really know what they're for, and I'm not using them, as you can tell. I should have just painted straight on them, but and you can see that I've been using kind of a pink theme, pink and red, in my sketchbook. So these are all kind of pinkish and reddish, and I kind of love that, and I want to keep doing that. I'm not one of the kind of people who make a sketchbook just for one particular thing. I kind of use my sketchbook for everything. And I know some people have like, this is my junky sketchbook, and this is my like really final, like maybe like finished sketchbook, and this is my, you know, sketchbook only for, you know, drawing still lifes or things like that. And I'm not that artist. I put everything in one sketchbook, and whatever happens, happens. That's just the way I work, because I don't want to carry a bunch of sketchbooks around. I want to have one, and I want to use it for everything. I'm using this, I started out with marker, but I've been recently interested again in painting. So I'm going to be working with gouache today. And these are some of my favorite gouache. They're Turner acrylic gouache. And they are, I buy them at Jerry's Artorama. This is the only place. Oh, I think, who did I see? Someone else carries them now. Eek, I don't remember. I'm sorry. I don't remember who else carries them, but I get them from Jerry's Artorama. I buy them at the store, but I know that you can buy them online. And I really like acrylic gouache. I don't love that I often waste a lot of it by leaving it on the palette and it dries. I do have a Stay Wet palette, but I just don't use it. I should really do that. I should really use it. So I'm going to be using these today. And I have this palette that just like a ceramic palette, and you can see I've been using it and not cleaning it, so it just continues to build up paint. I'm gonna keep using it like that. It's fine. I'll be fine. And then my brushes that I'm using are whatever I have handy. I have a lot of brushes, but I tend to like really cheap brushes, and I tend to use like the same 5 brushes every time. I find that I usually start with a flat brush. So I'll probably start with this one. I have a number 4. And then I always need something that's going to be kind of like a medium size round. So this is a Cotman number 4. And then this is a Blick Synthetic 0. So I need something a little bit smaller. This one, I don't know why it's out, but it's a liner brush, and I've been trying to, I want to try it. I don't know. I've never really used it, but I'm going to have it out just in case the mood strikes. I have some water, and I have a towel, and that's what I'll be using today. So let me just show you how, and then also just very important, I have a drink, and you should have yourself a drink as well. This is a strawberry oat milk matcha latte that I bought. It was like a little package, a little mix that I got from Chamberlain Coffee. So I don't know how I feel about it. I don't really like matcha in general. And then this one's very strawberry-ish, but I thought it would be pink and it would like match our colors, but it does not. So, oh well. It's like gray. It's like the most unappealing color, which makes sense because strawberry pink and matcha green. What we should be getting like a dull brownish tint. So, okay, so let me go ahead and load up my palette. Let me put up our first image and you can see what we're going to draw first. So this is our first image and I'm super excited to draw this one. I know that this is like a promotional image that I found on Unsplash for Curology, which I guess is like skin products or something. I don't use Curology. I don't know anything about it, but I like the pink tile. So I'm going to get some colors on my palette. So I'll just show you what I'm going to choose for this in case that is helpful for you. For me, I feel like I have a lot of pinks and I usually will put a little bit of all of them on here. I'm just going to put a little bit of opera red. Definitely need white. And if you have any questions at any time, feel free to let me know in the chat. And I will try to answer questions. Keep an eye on that chat over there. But I know that when we are making it is really hard to stop and type into the chat. So if you don't have the opportunity, no worries, it's all good. Okay, this is Rose. I love this color. It's so pretty. It looks great when you add some white to it. It looks even more amazing. What else should I use? I have Opera Red. I think I already put Opera Red in there. I have this pink, which is gouache, but it's artist gouache, so it's not the same. But I always find that if I want to use some artist gouache with my acrylic gouache, I can just mix a little bit of acrylic gouache into it and it'll make it pretty, like, what would we call that? Like waterproof at the end, I guess. Let me add some of this Lumi Red. I don't know about this color, but maybe it'll serve for one of the photos. And I'm gonna get myself some reds just in case I need it. Oh, look, I have this one pink, which is interesting because the other one was also pink, but it looks so different. Oh, these are different brands too, so duh. And I'm gonna get some blues too, just because I see that gray, and I'll probably want to use something bluish for that. So let's put some of that on the palette too. And of course, I'll add more colors as I go if I need them. But I feel like I don't want to have too much here. I don't want to be like overwhelmed by the amount of colors that we have here. Put them here. Oh, and I meant to put some music on and I forgot. So just so you know, throughout this session, you might hear my dog. She's very vocal and she has a lot of things on her mind that she wants to share. So just keep that. I apologize in advance for Lucy losing it on the live. And I always love a really dark blue. This is Prussian blue. I like that for shadows. And sometimes you have to warm it up. So I'm going to put a little bit of burnt umber. I'll put that right here where it looks like there's a little gap. Okay. I will probably add more as I go. I'm going to keep them out of sight, but they are handy. They're nearby. Now, if you would give me 1 sec, I'm just going to put some background music on, just because, I mean, I like to have something in the background. Let me see. Oh, today is the Lunar New Year. Maybe we should listen to the Lunar New Year tracks. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. We should have been painting all red things today. Duh. I didn't even think about it. Okay, I'm going to leave that on. Okay, so my sketchbook is ready to go. I have an image. So sometimes with these, I like to start with like a box. And I do like that about this one because it gives you like that shape to work from. So you can go big. I think I'm going to work on this side. I think that'll give me some flexibility. What do we have back here? I think that's okay. And if I can give you a tip, it's to keep your painting materials on the side where you, on the side with the hand that you draw with, or the one that your dominant hand. And to put your drink on the opposite side so you don't accidentally dip your brush in there. That really just tastes like a hot, slightly bitter strawberry milk. I don't know, it's weird. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and set a timer for this one. I think we'll start with something like short-ish, 10 minutes on the clock. And I'll just try to keep that as a guide for me. Now, obviously, if I don't make it, it's not the end of the world. It's okay. I'm just gonna start with like a little box. I already feel like I want to do something here where I paint like something else on top of it, so I might do that later. The good thing is that this image is a little higher than halfway here. This image is pretty empty at the bottom. There's not a lot of stuff here, so it's just that water line. Something like that. So I usually like to block everything in. Do I want to, I think I will put that little tube there. I don't think I need to make it like a Curology ad here, but I think a little tube of like product is kind of cute in this image. And if not everything fits, it's okay too. But the tile is really the thing I've been like wanting to paint. So actually this little grid here is going to be very helpful because I can use it for the tile. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to make the next line here. So it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And that gives me a little structure here. I'm going to start right below this. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So that's my beginning structure. And I'm just going to keep using this pink for a bit. Lay some of this out here. I wonder if these lines are like, you know, digitally created, because it doesn't seem like there would be that many ripples. It seems a little excessive. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, I guess, but. Okay, so I always like to start with an underpainting. This gives me some flexibility to kind of like map out where everything goes, and if I make mistakes I can tweak them from there. I like these shadows right here. I'm gonna put that in there too. I also do this very similar process of like underpainting with markers. I feel like I do the same thing with the Tombos. I don't know. This music might be a little too rowdy for me. Like, I need something a little more chill. I'll make a music change at the end of the timer if I'm still feeling like I need to change it. It's feeling a little wild and rambunctious for me. I need quiet energy in the morning, not too much energy. Especially on the weekends. Okay, so this is going to be I'm going to use my light blue. This was called aqua blue to block in my fixtures. Just gives me another color so I don't lose those bits there. Water is fun to draw, huh? You know, I was rewatching my old streams the other day just to kind of see, you know, what I've done, what I don't do, or what I should do. And one thing I notice is that when I am painting and talking, I can't, like, you can't hear me. I think maybe I might need to have like a mic next time, but I don't think it really matters because I'm just kind of talking through my process. But in case you want to hear me and I am mumbling or talking to myself quietly, please let me know if you need me to adjust. Otherwise, we can also just be quiet, you know? We can do some quiet working, which I love. This is not quite the pink I need for this, but I'm just going to use whatever pink I want. There's a little less than 5 minutes remaining. So this is a good time usually for me to start looking at the things I have and what I feel like I need to put in. So it's a good time to take stock of what you still need. And of course, these are just suggestion timers. You are always welcome to continue working on one, especially if you get like, you know, attached to one and you want to continue, by all means, do that. And if you are sick of it, you know, I love the idea of, you know, you giving it a chance, and you've given it these like 15 minutes and you officially know that you hate it and you're ready to move on after that. That's cool too. But I do think that it's valuable to try and try something that maybe you wouldn't normally do. And even, you know, try even when you're feeling like, ugh, this is not working, you know, to push through that. A lot of times we have our own, like, I don't know, there should be a name for that by this time. And like, you know, that process where you start an artwork and then you're like, this is great, I'm doing so good. And then it suddenly goes off the rails and you realize that it is not working and you hate it and you want to stop. Like this process now, if you usually, I find that if you keep going, it usually gets better. Oh, I thought I was using black here and I was not. Let me get some black. So in my experience, when you push through that doubt and that, you know, process of hating your work, I find that it usually turns out at the end. But oftentimes we stop in that stage and don't finish, so we never know that we can solve this, you know. So I think it's good and valuable to continue working through a process like that so that you really, you know, practice hard things that you might not want to continue doing. I feel like I want a little bit more time on this, so I might add a little bit of time to this timer when we're done here, when it goes off. We have like 1 minute left. Somewhere around there. I actually really like this image. I just feel like I need a little bit more. Oh, I forgot that little shadow on the, it doesn't look like, my painting doesn't look like anything yet. So I feel like I need to have a little more time with this guy. Interesting. Metal stuff is also really fun and challenging for me to paint. So I'm like painting these things and realizing that like my colors are all wrong. That's the timer. So I'm gonna add another, I mean this is a warm up, but let's do another 10 minutes on there. I feel like I could use another 10 minutes. And if you are ready to move forward, you can check out the photos on the Patreon and you can move forward onto the next one if you like. Or you can take this moment to go get yourself a little drink or refresh your coffee. Yeah, I really regret not having just like coffee today. I mean, I did have coffee. I had coffee earlier, but I wish I had coffee now instead of this strawberry monstrosity that I'm not enjoying. Pass on that. Okay, let's try and you know, clarify this area right here that's becoming a little confusing. I'm going to get a little bit of white on my brush and some pink and make some light on this water. A little ring of brightness on the edge here. There's some brighter pink right up here on top too. Add some more white to that. I'm gonna do some bright or whited out, no, not whited out. Let's see, a light value, I guess, of pink up here and here in the water. Kind of like some of those like dots from the grid paper showing through. So I might leave some of that with like the highlights. This is very expressive, we would say. It doesn't really come together yet. It's a little, it's very, very loose. It's not super easy to understand. And it needs a little more definition. Let me clarify on that little tube as well. Let's paint this little guy. I'm gonna let that go off the edge. It's not gonna totally fit. And then try to make this gray on the fixtures is actually kind of like violet if you look at it closely, and I wasn't really looking at it closely, so definitely a lot more purple than I thought it was. A little bit more red. Bring some more color in here. I'll come back and add a little bit more value in here in a second because I'm kind of getting rid of those darks and I need to bring them back in a second. Let's see what we can add in here. I feel like I could spend a whole day painting these fixtures. They are so cool. They would be really fun. I think they'd be a really fun painting. Okay, I don't think it's coming together yet. So let's do a little bit of shadow. Oh no, we have the shadows on there. Let's do a little bit more on the tiles. I'm going to define those a little bit more. So I'm going to start to paint inside these lines here. Can hear a dog outside, and Lucy has been awakened by the neighbors. She's come to life. Hoping this will kind of bring out the tiles. For me, they're not really coming through, and I really like the tile part. It's so funny, like I really like pink tiles right now. And when I bought my house, my 1960s old house, it had pink tile in it and I hated it. I hated the pink tile. In fact, that was like one of the first things I was like, I have to get rid of this. Of course, it took me a really long time to actually do that because, I mean, I bought my house and I didn't have any money, so I couldn't do any work on it. So it took a long time, but when I finally did, I was like so glad to get rid of that pink tile. And now it's so funny because it is like very similar to the tile that I had and that I hated. And it's, you know, I think it's very cool now. I don't know if it's just kind of like on my feeds or if it's actually, or it was, I think it was kind of trendy. I don't know if it is anymore, but for a minute there, this tile that I hated and worked so hard to get rid of in my 1960s house was now popular. But not just that it was popular, it was that I liked it. And I didn't like it when it was on my own house. That's the real problem. Like, hello. The irony is not lost on me. I know, it's stupid. Oh, that feels better. It's feeling a little bit more tiley now. I just left the empty space between them and painted out the tiles. I also really like how like jagged and kind of irregular everything is there. Just gonna have to redo those cast shadows because they're not the right color, I don't think. And I think we could do better on that. Okay, we have about 3 minutes. And I think I'm definitely going to turn off. Oh no, I got a bunch of purple in my pink. I mean, it looks cute, but can I use that? I think I can use it. Let's try. We'll see what we can do for this. It was an accident, so we'll see what happens. Let's use this for the shadows. I don't know, I was saying something, but I don't remember what it was. Let's put some shadow in here. Like we need a little bit more there, a bit more here. Almost out of time, getting nervous. Honestly, there's no reason to get nervous. Just gonna do what we can. You can always come back to it, no stress. A little bit of brightness right on the edge there. About a minute left. Add some brights on my metals. Oh no, we may have to come. I'm definitely gonna have to come back to this. I really like this image, so I might come back and rework it to see if I can bring it together a little bit more. It's feeling very expressive, which I normally love, but there's like this fine line where you want to get an expressive form, but also clarity, some sort of clarity. It doesn't have to be fully clear, like not every detail needs to read, but I want to have a little bit more than what I can tell from here. Okay, so that's time. I'm gonna stop right there. I'll show you mine. It looks, it's very rough, very rough. So that was a 20-minute drawing. Sometimes I like to write that out. I'm gonna give myself a little box here. See what we have next. So this is 20 minutes, and actually, I'm gonna put today's date on here. this was 20 minutes. Okay. So there's my first one. Let's go over to our next image. And again, if you're still working on this image, you need some more time, you can find it on the Patreon. It's an unlocked post so everyone can see it. And these are also from Unsplash, so you can find them there. Let's put that one away. And open this one up. Do we want to do this one next? You know what? Actually, let's do, before we do that one, let's do this one. I've been very excited to do this cat one. And I think I'm going to paint the cat right here and have him overlap the bath. I'm notoriously terrible at painting cats, so that'll be fun to watch. Let me go ahead and leave that right there for you to see. And let me find something a little bit lower BPM for me to listen to, because this is a little bit too much like energy and I need something a little more chill. Okay, I'll just play this one. Let's go back here. There we go. All right, so we've got our next image. I'm gonna put a 10-minute timer on. I'm low-key a little scared because cats are really hard for me, but I saw this picture and I just thought it was so cute. Right here. Now I would love to know, where are you guys all tuning in from? Is it morning in your parts? Take a little water break. I just kind of visualize this cat right here. So I'm going to paint it directly over what I have. And that's the wonderful thing about gouache, is that you can do that. Now, I'm excited to see how this is going to go because, I don't know, cats are really hard for me. So we'll see. Let's see what happens. I'm going to put, let's do 10 minutes on the clock. 10 minutes. Let's go. And I think I'm going to keep with my pink theme. I'm going to paint this cat pink. It's just going to be pink. It's going to be a pink cat. That's normal. Let's do a little bit right here. Oh, please let me do this right. Help me. Gods of art, art gods, please bless this cat. Okay, let's see. Over, lump, bump, bump, ears, head, ear, face. Uh-oh, I just felt everything go right there. Loose version of furry outline, not really much of an outline at all. There's a nose here. It's like the nose and eye placement on a cat is so crucial. And if you don't get those right, then this is not going to be a normal looking cat. Like it's going to be, there's something wrong with him. So that's what always throws me off. Like I can already tell. It's not, it might not end well here, but I'm going to keep going. We'll see what happens. Cats are so hard. Okay, I shouldn't really focus on that yet. Let me get in here and block it all in. I do the blocking in first, and that'll give me a little bit more of a sense of the space. There's a little leg. There's a little leg right here. A lot of furriness here. And I'll come back with white in a bit or something very light so that we can kind of block in where everything's going to go within that space. That feels like maybe too big right there. So I'm just going to make that a little bigger. Okay. And then there's a tail here. I think should be something like that. I don't know, I really like admire when people can do like cats really well. I feel like, you know, animals in general, like they're hard, but I can draw dogs pretty well, I think. And almost like any other animal that I try, but unless they're cat related. Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like I can even draw like, you know, I've drawn tigers and lions. Well, it's just those domestic cats that really give me trouble. Maybe if I stop taking it so seriously, let me just relax. Some pink on my brush that I need to remove. Oops. Five minutes left. That pesky eye placement, it's always giving me trouble. And that's part of why I feel like I have to practice more cats. I'm thinking, I do have a month scheduled. After asking my patrons, and I think I asked everyone on Instagram, like, what do you guys think that we should draw next month? And that was for February. And the amount of requests for cats was very high. So again, not great at it, but I think it would be a good opportunity for me to improve, hopefully. So I do have a month scheduled for cats. It's not March, but it will be coming soon, and then we'll really get a chance to dig into what is for me very complicated subject matter, or challenging subject matter, we'll say. Like these eyes, if I don't get them right, it's all, I mean, I wouldn't say it's downhill from there, but it's not, it's going to be hard for me to focus on anything else if I'm just looking at these terrible eyes. I wonder if that happens to everybody, or is that just a me thing? I'm not putting everything into those eyes just yet. I'm definitely scared of them. Can't tell if these are like stripes or, oops, there's something in there. There we go. And there's a nice like deep shadow there. So I'm gonna try to put that stark shadow at the bottom. Create a little weight. Yeah, that's better. I like that. But still not ready for this face. And I really like that this white that I added to the pink kind of covered up that color pencil that was under there. I really thought that the color pencil was going to be so easy to cover with the gouache, but actually it needed a few layers. I think it's because it was that opera red I think I used, and that one, or maybe it was the, I don't know which one it was. It was a little transparent. Okay, I'm gonna try some eyes. And I think I'm gonna just opt for, I know that cats don't really have blue eyes, I don't think. But I have blue on my palette right now, so I'm gonna use that. I know it needs to be lighter, so I'm gonna add some white. Oh, it's so small. I wish I could zoom in here. Let's try. We're just gonna try. It's not the end of the world if it doesn't work out, right? Nobody cares. It's fine. It's also like a little bit of, oh no, the mouth. Big mistake right there. Hold on, my eyes aren't done yet. They look terrifying, but let me see. I'm gonna use less water so I can have a lot more control. I'm trying to put some darks in here. Honestly, why are cats so hard? I don't know if anyone has seen the medieval cats like memes. They're just like the funniest paintings of cats from like medieval times, I guess. And they're just so bad. Like, I mean, I feel like I'm not one to talk because my cats are bad too. But they're just so funny. It's like if you thought, like you just gave cats, like you just gave a human like cat ears and then called it a day. You're like, done, I drew a cat. But really, it looks like it has a human face on it. Those are so hilarious. This is really bad, but I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm just not gonna mess with it too much. I'm gonna put a little bit of light in the eyes. Oh, the timer's gonna go off any second now. Just so it doesn't look like dead eyes, you know, blank stare, kind of. Ooh. May have messed that up. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to come back to all of these. I can tell already. I didn't even put in the whiskers, and the whiskers are here, and they actually are really, really long and thin, so I feel like I should have used the very small brush I have, which is the 0. Get some finer lines here. I'll make those a little finer too. Just take a couple of minutes to... Okay, this needs a lot of work. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, cat. You are way cuter in real life. This cat is atrocious. I'm okay with that. We're gonna just have to, you know, we're gonna keep living. I really don't want to finish her yet, but I'll come back to this at some point in time. We'll pretend that's a cat. We'll call that a cat. I think she needs some lights on the, wait, sorry. Before I go forward, can I just, a little bit of light on the edge here. A little bit of white in there. Okay, I'm gonna stop. It's not happening. It's not gonna get better than what it is right now. Okay, so that was a 10-minute cat. I'm not gonna label that one, but we know. And I would say if you wanna continue with that one, by all means do so, and the images are on the Patreon. Let's come up here. I think I really wanted to do that chair with the balloons, but I think a few like let's do the cake. The cake will be good because 1, 2, 3. It'll give us something like kind of vertical to work with. So it's not that cat, it's this one right here. There we go. Okay, so here's the cake, and of course, I mean, the cake has a lot of stuff, So I'm going to encourage you to pick and choose from this image what you want to draw. If you just feel like focusing on a blob of whipped cream and a cherry because those are really pretty, do that. Just zoom in on that. If you want the whole cake plate, if you just want those 3 cherries on the bottom, by all means do that. I think I kind of just want the 3 cherries. But I do like to kind of pick out the things I want to draw and leave everything else behind. So I do want the cherries as well, but I think I'm going to start with like a little whipped cream and cherry on top. Okay, so timer, let's do 10 minutes again. Okay, 10 minutes on the clock. Let's go. And I'm still working with the same colors, so everything's very pink again. I have several versions of pink, so I'm just mixing them all together. I have some purple on here. I have some blue. I can just mix it all. So I'm going to make a little underpainting sketch of a blob, a cherry, and I'm going to try my best to make this like whipped cream. We want the cat to be like staring at it. Geez, whipped cream is so fun to paint and draw. It's just it's hard, but it's fun because it can kind of like teeter on abstract, and it can be hard to do, especially when it might feel like you could just like draw any sort of lines, but you still need to really observe them because then it might not make sense or it might not come through as whipped cream unless you don't care. Like, that's fine too. If you don't necessarily want it to look like whipped cream, or you're not super concerned with it feeling like it has dimension, then yay, more power to you. I'm going to put a little stem here. Now these cherries are like sugared or something. I don't know why they're like iridescent, like they have like mica powder or something on them because they look so sparkly, and I'm going to, leave some of that out. I'm just going to try to see some of those values that are existing underneath that powdery finish on them. And again, with gouache, it's so nice because if I make a mistake, I can just paint over it. And if I feel like I need something else to be in front of another thing, again, I just paint over it. I think fairly early on, I'm going to have to switch to a smaller brush. So that's the pink we used. I feel like that's a pretty fair interpretation of color here. So it goes like this. And then I'm going to use a little bit of a darker red to make those shadowy bits. I think this is carmine red. Try to pull out all my shadows right now so I'll know where they go. It would be really good for me too. I do like drawing whipped cream, and I've drawn it many times before, but I think it would be a good exercise for me to like slow down on one of these paintings of like cream or something that's like, bent and folded under itself, so that I can, really focus on understanding it. I do sometimes just abbreviate it, which, you know, serves me in a lot of ways. So I don't hate that process, but a lot of times I get like confused. I don't know where I am on these. And so it might be good for me. It might be a good exercise for me to slow down on something like this at some point in time. That's not happening today, but maybe in the future. Use some of this crazy pink here for the cherry. I'm trying to create a little bit of distinction between the two spaces. And I need some more white. Oops. I'm gonna paint these the little, what are those things called? Like jimmies, the little sprinkles. There's a lot of blue ones, but there's a little less than 5 minutes remaining on this one. A lot of the light is on this side of the whipped cream. So I'm going to start adding in some lights here. Even on this cherry, there's a lot of the light right here on that side. And on the stem too. It's going to usually be all on one side consistently. There's a little bit of light on this side, reflected light there. I get a little bit more white and add some more light over here. And then I'm going to try to add some shadows on some of those little jimmies, or the sprinkles. Why am I calling them jimmies? Aren't jimmies? I think jimmies are chocolate, like exclusively. So I don't know that these would qualify as jimmies. So less water in my paint is going to give me more control. So I'm going to try to use that to define some of these shadows on a couple of these little jimmies. I mean sprinkles. Come on, get it together, Erica. And I'm going to add a little bit of Prussian blue to my pink or red to make some really dark shadows, like right down here. And I kind of invented this little piece right here. I just wanted the stem to come in a little bit. So I made that up a little bit, but I just wanted to add a little bit of dimension there. We have like 1 minute. So go find the most important things that you want to put in here. define some of these shapes a little bit more. There's a little sprinkle here, I guess. I feel like they need to be blended a little. I'm just gonna use a little bit of water. Smudge those really hard lines. Soften them just a little. That was time. Now before I go forward, I'm just gonna take a minute to add an imaginary shadow I don't see, but I feel like I need it so that they'll look like they're, you know, just kind of seated. Just want it to feel like there's a little bit of contrast against the surface on the bottom. Oh my goodness, Lucy just barged into the room. What, Lucy? What is it? What is it? Okay. So we're gonna wrap this one up. Just one more little bit of brightness here. Even on the sprinkles, they need a little bit of brightness too. Okay, there's my little whipped cream. About 10 minutes for that one. I like this photo so much. It's so pretty. So, I mean, if you want to draw the whole thing, I mean, maybe I'll do that at some point. It's just so cute. I think it would be really nice to also paint those cherries, those 3 cherries on the bottom here. But I'm going to save that for another time. All right, I'm going to close this image. And if you want to continue with this one, feel free to. Just, just go ahead and find it on the Patreon. Okay, so I'm gonna do next, I think we're gonna do the, if you have a request, let me know. We haven't done the chair with the balloons, and I think the balloons, I might like the balloons here. I don't wanna do the donuts because I feel like we already have the whipped cream, so it's like too much of the same. Or maybe that rose, I think I might do I think the rose might be good here. I don't know. I don't have the right space for that. And that pink little car is so cute. Maybe that. I don't know. I'm starting to have second thoughts. Let's do the balloons in the chair. I think I could do the balloons here, and then I could do the chair here. I think I need to do them separated. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So this is our second image. So it's this one right here. Okay, I'm gonna try to figure out a layout for this. So let's do 10 minutes on the clock. Actually, I'm gonna try to do 2 of these. I'm gonna try to do the chair and then that one. So I'm gonna do 15 minutes. So we have a little bit more time. I mean, it really doesn't matter because even if I had put them together, I would still be drawing them together. So I don't know why I said that. Sorry if I'm not making sense. It's because I don't know what I'm saying. Okay. Balloons. I love to draw balloons, but mostly because I like the imagery, like the iconography of balloons. They just, you know, speak of, you know, nostalgia and celebration and festivity. I wonder if there's like anything you can do with balloons that would feel like it's not happy. Like I feel like balloons are just automatically feel happy. Let me try this weird orangey color that I put down here. And of course, draw as many or as much of this image as you like. I'm starting with the balloons, and I found that they would fit, or I think that they would fit in this space well. So that's where they went. And I cannot fit the chair, so I will put that in a separate area. really just want to use about 7 minutes of my time here on these balloons so that I can have time to do the chair. And the chair looks really like fun. I really want to paint that chair, so I'm not gonna spend too much time on these balloons. I'm going to move on very quickly, very soon. I'm just gonna lay in some values. Let's do a little bit more of this. Hi, Christina. What are you doing today? What are you up to? Anything fun? Getting ready for the Super Bowl? I'm just gonna bring these lines all the way down till they reach that quote unquote cat of mine. Because that cat is... We're just not gonna talk about it anymore. I'm not gonna talk about that cat anymore. She looks goofy, and we're gonna allow it. Okay, this part's a little tricky. Like, I oftentimes don't like to do like separations of things. Like I, separated these balloons from each other because, like, for one, I cannot see what happens underneath that other balloon that's in the way. So I don't like having to like invent stuff like that little tail there, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Okay, so I did the balloons, and now I'm gonna move over to the chair. I'm gonna do that one over here. We have about 10 minutes left. Wow, perfect. Perfect timing. And of course, I have mostly pink on my palette, so this is going to be a pink chair. Underpainting, block it in. Accidentally got some purple in here. So we're gonna go with it. Right here. One of the things I hate about drawing things like a chair, buildings, is the symmetry. I always struggle with that. Like, it's gonna look crooked. And I have yet to just accept that that's going to be the case for me. I don't want that. I don't want crooked. That will especially like really like eat at me. I hate that. So I try my best, but things like chairs can be a little challenging in that respect. I'm going to go all the way to the edge of the paper, which I try not to do, but I think we need to in this case. What a pretty chair. gonna do a little bit of shadow here. Geez, that ended up looking just like the color. I didn't want the same color, but it kind of looks the same. The shadow goes back that way, so I'll just leave it. Okay, a little more than 5 minutes remaining. We have about 6 minutes, 7 minutes. This brush is too big for this. Let's scale down. Oh, good. Go Taylor's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was really cute. That's me. But honestly, like, you know that I have a fascination with those Kelsey brothers. I don't know why. But, you know, I kind of like liken it to, and this will be for like anyone who didn't know this about me. Most people don't know this about me, but I have a real like soft spot for like, especially like feel good sports movies. Like things for like, you know, the underdog. I mean, I love that. I'm just like I'm so into it. So I don't know. I'm just like really like fascinated with these guys and their family, and like, what is the likelihood that you would have like 2 kids in the NFL? Like, that's so rare that anybody goes to the NFL or any sort of professional sports. I know that's like a dream for a lot of kids, but it's just not like gonna happen to most people. And so for 2 people in one family, I mean, I could go on and on about this, and I know people have heard me do it. So you probably don't want to hear this right now, but, and I just think like the whole, you know, like positivity of it is like, I love that. I eat it up. I'm going to try to make some form here. I'm going to try to develop a little bit of form here. And so to add some of this form, you know, just put a little bit of value on one side and then add some light on the other side. Always look at your photo. I mean, I think some people are really like good at, you know, visualizing light and dark, but for most of us, a reference is going to be probably the best thing. So look for those lights, look for those darks, and then it'll start to come together like a form, like something 3-dimensional. I know it. What's the likelihood of that, Christina? Like Christina says that they also played against each other on the Super Bowl. But like, how can that be? Like, that's wild to me. Like, I mean, I could go on and on. I'm sorry for everyone who is like, oh God, I came to this stream to paint and we're talking about football. But I mean, I'm not much of a football player. I mean, football watcher or fan, whatever. But I do, I have like, again, that soft spot for a feel-good sports movie. Like, ugh, I love them all. Like, you know, Miracle, the one with the hockey team, and the like, what was his name? Was his name Rudy? Rudy, and like, you know, baseball movies. I don't know what the issue is. I have a problem, but I don't actually partake in the real sport watching. Like, I'm not super interested. I'd much rather be painting. But I am so excited to hear that you're painting, Christina. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you make. Okay, there's 3 minutes left on this session. And that's going to bring us like close to the end of our time. So we'll do one more after this one. And I'm kind of sad because I feel like I have to do it on a separate page. What a bummer. I would rather they would all be on the same. But that's okay. We will survive. Try to make this look like it's underneath. A little bit of light, a little bit of shadow there. I'm going to put a little bit more highlights on there. Maybe a little bit of light right. I missed a spot right here. We have 2 minutes left. Leave that like that. I like that chair, but it'll do, it'll do. Okay, so I'll come back and do a little bit of work on these balloons since I have some time. I do feel like they need a little bit more color here, more pink, a little bit of a sense of shadow up here. I just dust off my brush and kind of blend it in. For this, I think it was this one. Oh, that's good. I needed something kind of neutral, something that gave more like brown vibes because it needs a little bit of shadow. There we go. Then it creates that little bit of distinction between the two objects that are sitting right close to each other. And I do feel like I need a little bit more brown vibes for this next one too. So I'm going to add a little bit of blue and make a little bit of shadow here. Ooh, that might be too much. Let's come back up a little. Bring a little bit more of that red in. And that's time. Yay. Okay. So that is my spread. I think we have time to do another one, but I don't know. We have about 9 minutes left. I think it might be a better idea to stop. So I'm going to do some like final touches. I like to put some, whenever I have like an awkward space like that, I'll usually add like some little embellishments. There is a word, I learned that there is a word for this kind of thing when you add like little motion lines to things. Can't remember what it was right now, but there's definitely a name for that. And I wish I could tell you right now, because then it would be like, wow, you're so smart because you even knew that. But I can't remember it, so I'm obviously not. But those little things, I like them because they kind of add a sense of, you know, energy to the work. And just fill those in. It would probably be smarter to, you know, outline them after you fill them in, but, you know, whatever. So like here, I feel like that would be a good place for it, just because they're so, like this little, oh, it sounds like it's gonna rain. Is anybody enjoying rain right now? Let me add some more little dots here. I'm really gonna have to come back to that cat. This cat is low-key scary. See if I can bring that line back up here. And then we'll do a quick little recap and we'll wrap it up on this drawing. I'm going to use my pencil to define some of these spaces a little bit more. Thought that would be kind of fun if this looked kind of like a sticker. Let me put that away right now. a sticker on top of that one. So I should have done like a little white outline, but it's okay. I'm going to just add a little bit of definition here. And I do feel like I need to come back to it, so I'm not going to do a lot on that. I want to be able to come back to it later. Now, usually if I do something like add pencil, which I wasn't really planning on doing pencil, but I do feel like I need to add it to a little bit to all of them. And the reason why is like, we just really want to make sure that everything feels like it belongs there and it doesn't seem like an afterthought. Like I put the pencil here, but then I didn't bring it into the other images. So sometimes I'll just do a little bit of like line work on some of them. I like to use pencil for this because I can do something that is, you know, like shady. So you can get kind of this like shady, not that kind of shady, but you can get this kind of like texture that you get from a pencil, that like that little bit of roughness. I love that. I mean, it's rough, but it's also soft. Like it's a soft type of texture that comes from your pencil. But you could also use it for like really crisp lines, and you can define areas with those crisp lines. So I like a little bit of both of those. I'll usually do some of the crisp lines and some of the little shady bits. So I think the cat could really use some shady bits, and I'm gonna wait to do that because I do think it needs to be observed. I definitely need to be paying attention to the image, because we all know, if we've learned nothing else in this session, is that I struggle with cats or drawing cats. And also I'm also allergic to cats, so maybe that's why I haven't studied them enough. But I really like my spread. It's so cute. It's very pink. I would love to go back into this one right now or a little later and develop this a little further. To be very honest, I'm probably not going to ever. I'm probably not going to come into this cat either. I'm just going to leave them be. But I do think I could benefit from a little bit more time on this one. I might try a whole new version. Sometimes I'll do one painting and I'll if I don't feel like it was successful, I'll try it again, completely different. I won't really work on that one anymore. And I think that's good to see, because then you get to see like the way it was before, and then you get to see the after, and you get to think about what changed or how you develop that process. So, you know, I think it's a win to have those, even the losers in your sketchbook. Keep them. Sometimes my students, I notice that they will like tear them out. They don't want anyone to see it. They don't want to see it anymore. But I think we learn so much by looking at those mistakes that we made. So keep them in your sketchbook. They were valuable. They are valuable, I think. So that's just that's just what I think. So let's come back over here. So thank you everyone for being here. This is my final spread, and I'll show it to you like this. It's a pretty small sketchbook, so it doesn't have a ton of space to play with it, but I was really like happy with the arrangement of the images. They are kind of random. We've got a lot of different random images, but I am enjoying this. So I learned today that I could definitely work on cats a little bit more, and maybe I need a little bit more time than just the 10 minutes I would like. I don't know. I think working fast can be really fun, because then you just kind of have to force yourself to focus on the things that are the most important. But it takes some practice to kind of get there. Usually at the beginning, you're still working the way you normally do, and you end up with just like a lot of empty space or unfinished parts. So, try both of them. I suggest try working quickly, try giving yourself a little more time, and then, see where that leads you. Christina says that the sync reminds you of the first I was just talking about that, Christina. I think you got here after that, but I was talking about that and how I hated it so much. And then now look, I'm looking for pictures that we can draw. So go figure. Everything comes full circle, right? All right. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you had a good and productive drawing session this morning, and then you can get on with your day. And, you got a little bit of time in on your sketchbook. I got a little bit of time in on my sketchbook, and I can go do other things now. So I hope you guys have a great weekend. I wish you guys a lot of happiness tomorrow in whoever you're going for in the Super Bowl. I'm not going to be watching it, but I hope you enjoy it. And yeah, have a great one. If you are new and haven't ever joined one of my streams before, I would love it if you would follow me on Patreon and follow me on YouTube or subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to grow there. So if you could like check out my other videos, I have maybe like 25 videos that I put that I posted last year. So I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Making a video is no small feat, especially if you're not like a video person. So thank you guys so much. I hope to see you next time. Take care.